Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'll be doing this my Wealth Wednesday live again. I'll be live on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. So make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check in for more information. So we'll get back to it every single Wednesday. I'll keep sharing you our games and how we can continue to build wealth as a family, as a community, and how we can continue to move forward within this agenda. So there's a lot going on. It's the first week of September as we continue to just know that the markets have been volatile. The first, a lot of job updates, consumer stocks, a lot of stuff going on. So we want to be able to stay informed, to utilize information so we can continue to share this information to our families and continue to build wealth. My name is Corey Phillips. I'm the founder and CEO of Social Storm LLC. I teach young people about investing in financial literacy all across the country. Work with different nonprofits, organizations, and universities, educating Gen Z about finances and building wealth. So I do programs all throughout the city of Chicago, and I want to be able to share this to the world so we can all continue to build wealth. We can stay inspired and be resilient regardless of what happens. So we have a lot of stuff going on. I'll get to some of the news that we had lately that came out these last couple of days. It's currently September 3rd as of this date, this news for this video. There's been a lot of new updates as far as unemployment. You know, it's been hard to get a job already, but right now the JOLTS data that we had based off of the jobless claims is that there's 7.2 million unemployed Americans and 7.8 million job openings. So this is the first time since April 2021 where there's more unemployed jobs than available jobs, than jobs available. So there's more unemployment jobs than jobs available, which 0.99 jobs per unemployment, which is down from 1.05. We've also had a potential rate cut in September, which has about a 95.6% probability, which continues to give a weakening job market, gives Fed to cover the funds rates, cut rates. Gold is also at an all-time high. It's up to 3,573 per share per ounce, and it's up 6% over the past 7 sessions, but it's also 33% up this year. So we look at the reality check of the job market. We look at times about, we don't have jobs, the job market is going bad, we don't know what's going to happen, but really it's not just about unemployment, but it's all about opportunity. When job markets tighten, that's typically when smart money is positioned into different companies and build wealth. So history shows that unemployment weakness is investment opportunities for people who prepare. That's why when I tell people about investing, it's important to have 6 months to a year saved up. So regardless if you lose your job, you still have expenses to cover your day-to-day necessities. So for someone that's not investing, I want you to be prepared so you don't have to get ready. Prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. We know that the price of living is going to go up. We know that things are just going to get more expensive each and every year. So why be in a position where you continue to buy more liabilities and assets, and you're in a position where you can't be able to be financially free? That's something that I believe everybody has a right to do. So we must be able to be smart and be able to be proactive instead of reactive, so we don't have to get ready. We're already prepared. Someone that we also know is a Fed cut strategy is that Fed rate cuts typically benefit different REITs, utilities, dividend stocks, growth tech companies, and then lower rates equals cheaper borrowing, which has business expansion. So this will make money cheaper to borrow, and be able to have increasing profit margins within different businesses, and then you see a lot of the stocks continue to go up over time. This is your portfolio. Your portfolio should reflect the rate environment and different changes. We should see a lot of these tech companies continue to go higher, especially some of these hyperscalers like Facebook, NVIDIA, all these other companies go higher as the markets continue to grow. That's something that we should see, and we know the average rate of return in the month of September is 0.9%. So someone who's new to investing, you think that, we see a lot of volatility within the market in September. But there's a reason for that. The average rate is 0.05 to 0.7%, which is the worst month of the year. But why is this happening? Why is the market going down in the month of September? There's a lot of institutional rebalancing in the quarter three. Diminished mutual funds, hedge funds, rebalance portfolios. Tax loss harvesting, that's where investors sell underperforming stocks to offset gains. And then the federal fiscal year ends, so that means the US fiscal year ends September 30th. There's a back to school effect where consumer discretionary spending a lot slows as the summer ends as people go back to school, stop traveling. And the Fed policy reviews, the central banks review monetary policy around September. So a lot of these different corporations, big money is typically moving their money, rebalancing their portfolios at the end of this fiscal quarter, ends in September. So that's for someone to be wondering why this stuff is actually happening. It's not because the economy is going in flames. It's not because companies just are losing money, but it's just the cycle, a business cycle. If you understand business cycles, you understand economy, the different cycles that currently happens every year. This is very normal for September. But why it connects is that someone who's short-term investors don't look at the day-to-day outlook, but look at the 10 to 20, 30-year horizon, especially if you're someone that's young. We're always looking about what's happening every day, what's happening with earnings, what's happening with the economy, what's happening with tariffs, what's happening all across the board. But at the end of the day, you can't control all those different things, but you can control your financial discipline. You can control how many assets you continue to buy. You can control the amount of attitude you have towards your financial freedom. And that's something that we need to continue to navigate as we push forward through these markets, use this market as an opportunity rather than sit on the sidelines. Because you cannot save yourself to wealth. You cannot just work one job and be able to become wealthy. You need to be able to have multiple sources of income. You need to be able to decrease your liabilities, you want to decrease your assets. The people who will be successful in this new economy of automation and this new expensive economy, this new world economy, you have to be disciplined in what you're doing. We don't need any more flashing things on Instagram. We don't need to buy expensive vacations 24/7. We don't need to do all these different things. We need to lock in and buy assets. We know sports betting season is coming back up, but you all see you all with different sports bets on the Bears or different other different NFL, college, high school, whatever. But I want to see you all start investing your money. How much money have you sports betted rather than you put in the stock market? It's cool. Everyone can have all these different parlays, things like that. But I want to see you match that same money in the market because that's something that can continue to build you up wealth over time. Real estate, like you mentioned, real estate is another good asset for you all to have. Having home ownership is something that people talk about. We talk about it's too expensive to own, it's expensive to rent. But at the end of the day, if you're someone that is just renting over time, of course you get to rent. If you think you're not going to be somewhere short term, or you think that you just want to you have a bunch of assets in your business. But for a lot of people, if you just end up being somewhere long term, you think you're end up paying a certain amount of cost to rent. Like if to own, you have to pay all the utilities, you got to pay the taxes, all those other responsibilities. But over the course of time, you build equity, and that equity can help you build wealth down the line. So home ownership is something that, especially people in Gen Z, we talk about it being unaffordable, but being able to get ourselves and own our homes, be able to own different assets, and continue to leverage that and pass it down towards our kids. Truly becoming a homeowner at 22 more attainable than people think. That's so true. BlackRock owns 1/3 of America's real estate, but keeps raising rents. Might as well build equity. That's right. As these big corporations continue to buy and hold assets for long periods of time, like real estate, if we don't continue to get equity and own our own home, own our own communities, we're going to see a bunch of big corporations continue to own everything that we see. But if we want to have true, actual power within the world, we have to have ownership. It is not in just renting. It is not just in being consumers. It is someone who is be able to be an owner, an investor, and someone who can be an entrepreneur or be able to have that sort of financial freedom that you can get from different avenues of life. So we're not just in it for the money, but we're in here to create financial freedom for everyone, regardless of if they're a college student, regardless if they're working a job, regardless if they're an entrepreneur, if they're in the trades or they're overseas. If we understand this information and be able to invest into ourselves and invest into our future and cut off all these things that distract us from the end goal, then we can continue to be able to build something sustainable and rebuild our communities economically. So that's something that's so important. I want you all to know that the biggest wealth transfer is happening right as we speak. For people that's in Gen Z that do not know, is that there's millions and tens of thousands of baby boomers retiring every single day. 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every single day, and that's the biggest generation in history. And most of their kids do not want their businesses. So there's a bunch of these businesses, a bunch of people in the baby boomer generation that want to have businesses that pass down. So many of you all that think, oh, I don't know what business to start, I don't know what to do. Look at what type of businesses that are going to be around as we see the world of automation. We're going to need people that are going to be able to run these everyday necessity needs. And artificial intelligence cannot replace the human identity, cannot replace the human touch. So look at those different businesses that people continue to have, like laundromats, HVAC, trades, mom and pop shops, family-owned restaurants, family-owned businesses, um, things that involve building people. Those companies will be around regardless of how much automation comes. We need that sense of community more than ever. So look at taking advantage of these opportunities of these different businesses that people need to pass down, and look at how you can find a way to get into equity into some of these companies, is maybe buying them, working for them, running the business operations, and eventually being able to move up to management and ownership so that you can be able to position yourself to get in these positions. So this is something that's so important. Um, Another thing we're going to continue to show is that there's so much opportunity in these markets as we see that we're all on social media. We're worried about cryptocurrency, we're worried about tariffs, we're worried about all these different things in the economy. But we see everything just go off of trends. So we see a lot of volatility, a lot of um, being someone that owns different asset classes. We talk about people ask whether should I own stocks, should I own real estate, should I own Bitcoin, should I own cryptocurrency, should I own my house, should I own bonds, whatever. You need to be able to own many different assets. You cannot have all your eggs in one basket because that's not the way to build wealth. Because if the real estate market were to go down, but you have 100% real estate, it'd be house house rich but cash poor. But if you have all your money in Nvidia stock, and you have all your money in US equities, then if you see interest rates rise or a lot of overextension to a certain industry, then you'll see that the portfolio crash. So that's something that's so important to look out for as you invest. Um, but this is something that's so important is that we need to be able to say, oh, what have I missed out about the markets? The market's going to just continue to go down, or they're going to continue to go down over time. Like, oh, I missed the boat. You never really missed the boat. I tell people that everything's expensive now, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's anything. There's opportunities in every market, regardless of what you say. Oh, Apple stock, we already passed on the video, we already passed on so many opportunities. Stop thinking in a victim mindset. People who always think in a victim mindset will never be in a position where they can continue to grow and be the person that's in control of their future. Oh, just find a way to be able to lock in and focus on building your skill set and understanding what these market cycles are so that you can continue to invest in these different companies. September, you can see a pullback in some of these companies that you can get at a discount rate. Investing is not hard if you take the emotion out of it. Everyone says, I want to get 100%, 1,000% return every single month, but that's truly not true. All the stuff we see on social media is just a highlight. That most people are not living that life that you see. People living in overseas, living buying expensive cars, living in expensive clothes, living in things that keeps people broke. The people that really are building wealth are the people that aren't flashy, people that aren't just buying expensive cars. It's the people that understand how they can continue to utilize their skill set, position themselves in the right way so that they can invest in different companies, so they can start a business where they can put their families in positions so that they can succeed. That's something that we need to understand. How can you work together? How can you share this information to your family? Financial literacy was not taught in school, not because it's something that's not known, it's because they just don't want people to know about it. They don't want people to understand that being financially free is empowering, so people don't have to rely on these companies to provide them a wage. They understand that if we understand financial literacy, that they don't have control of their masses. So if the more people that we can continue to invest, to continue to take control of their finances, then the better that we can become. The ultra wealthy already talk about investing every single time to their kids, their grandkids, and they pass it down. They don't want people to understand how they can leverage your taxes to pay no taxes because they start a business and borrow the assets in LLC. They want people to make the W-2 wage and say that they have to work for this company until they die. This system was not built for everyday people, but that's okay. We can take advantage of the opportunities that's presented in front of us. Use those same things that you might have had that relationship you had to money in the past. Don't let that discourage you from building wealth in the future. Because if you're someone that wants to build wealth, you have to have a certain capacity. But if you're still in that survival mode where you had to be able to buy things because you want to impress everyone else, or you want to be able to look nice and overextend yourself too far, or you picked the wrong person in your relationship, or you were able to go to student loan debt when you really could have maybe went to a 2-year college, or you could have went to the trades, or you could have took another route and save up your money so you don't have to get in student loan debt. Or maybe you didn't have to go and spend all this money going out to eat or going to club or going overseas every single day. You could have sat home and stack your money and then continue to put that in good different vehicles to build wealth. A lot of your financial discipline is the most important thing that people take. I don't care if you're someone that makes multi-million dollars. If you don't have that mindset of an investor, you will lose that and go broke. That's why majority of people that win the lottery, go to the NFL, people that play in the sports, NBA, they end up broke because they don't understand this. And this is something they don't want people to understand. And we know that things are getting harder. We know that things are gonna continue to get more expensive. But we want to be able to know that when you can go into entry when things are at a discount and hold them for long periods of time. Um, Economic weaknesses is where you build the most wealth. Stay resilient in these times. You saw in April when the market went down and everything was fearful. You buy stuff when people are fearful and you hold it. Have that discipline and you hold these companies. I don't even you see a company go down. I don't want you to sell it. You don't want to hold these top companies that you see in the world and hold them for long periods of time. If someone over here looks at the all-time returns of these different companies, you'll be astonished by how long someone will be like, I wish I held it for long periods of time. I wish I invested more. That's the type of problem we want to get to the point where I wish I invested. We all talk about I wish I invested more. You learn from that and invest more the next time. This is something that we need to continue to just build and have these type of conversations. Like the biggest wealth transfer is happening right now, and from those who panic and those who prepare, from those who react to headlines and who understand the cycle, those who fear September will see the bigger picture. So we want to be able to understand that this is an opportunity for us to not just save our money, but be able to change the trajectory of where we'll be. We look at the stock market; it has remained resilient regardless of who was in office, regardless of if there was war, regardless of the economic hardships, regardless of if there was the media. The stock market has been resilient 100% of the time. It has recovered from every single recession, war, correction, anything. That's something that you need to understand that you have to put that into your mindset. And if you see that in the stock market go down, respond yourself more. This is something that we deserve to continue to understand as we continue to move throughout the space. That, like you said, things are going to get more expensive. Like find a way to utilize your skill set to build wealth. Find a way to self-service, provide a project, provide a service, provide a product. You can almost monetize anything online. Instead of using social media as a means to be able to talk about beef or talk about things that is negative, but use it for something to empower people, provide value to people. You can utilize this free resource, which I mean, technically that's never free. Use this resource where you can continue to influence people in this world where people continue to be in this world of automation, where people need to see something where people are free. You have the ability right now in Generation Z any this is the most important time and era in human society. There's more information, more things at the tip of our fingerprint, but most people don't know how to take actual advantage of it. The world is not going to be able to favor people that just are not able to think because you're utilizing artificial intelligence to do your homework, to write your emails, to think for you. Use your ability next to everything you need is up here. Everything that you see in society that you're saying why I can't do something is your own self-limiting belief. You only think because I came from the hood that I'm only going to be in the hood. That only because my friends told me I'm not going to be successful, that you're not going to be successful. That I'm only an athlete or I'm only someone that just thinks about me being a specific box that you put yourself in. But no, you are so much more. You open up your mindset and just take everything that you see from media. Stop watching news every single day. It wants you to be fearful. It wants you to sell your stocks. It wants you to be fearful of everything that's happening in the world. But that's only a small percentage of what you see in society. They're not going to cover things that's going to want you to be proactive. They want you to be consumed by this media so that you're always in a position where you're not able to think. This is the most important era that I want you to keep continue to lock in. We see this time in September. September, October, November, December, this time where you can go and lock in and change your life. I started my business in 2023, but it started before that. 5 months earlier, September 2022, I went to my first business event. I was already investing for a couple of years back in started 2020 when I was working my first job at Walmart. And in September of 2022, I told myself I'm going to go and take the next step. I wasn't playing football that much. I wasn't playing in college. I wasn't dressing for the games. So what I did is I took that time to lock in and build up my skill set. I said I saw there's different events where I can go and get started in my career. I can go and network. So I told my mom I saw a business event that I wanted to go to, and then I went to that business event a couple of days later. And after 5 months after me going to that business event, I continued to put that myself in a mindset that I can be able to unlock different doors for my life. So after doing that, I started social stuff. I just started doing this. I was talking in the dorm room, literally just here where I am now in the college dorm room, my freshman year, talking about inspiring people. And then a year later, I met my business partner Ian. And then about a year ago, I hosted my first event. And then now tomorrow, I'm about to be able to go to Wall Street in New York and educate people across the country about finances. That all started with me taking that ability to take that next step, that leap of faith that I was more than just an athlete. That was more than what people tried to put me into a box that, oh, your videos are corny. Oh, people make fun of you 24/7. People don't think that you don't know what you're talking about. Don't listen to those people. You're never going to see someone more successful talk about bad about you in a way in that light. The only people that's more successful, you're going to empower you to become better. Now, the people that are trying to limit you from being successful wish they could be in your shoes. If I only listen to those people that think I'm only going to be this or that, and I would never be in that position where I can be able to utilize my voice to help empower the world. Like I'm going to be in New York City at the New York Stock Exchange. I'm gonna be in Times Square. It's my first time in New York, and that's from an opportunity that I started 3 years ago. Utilize your youth as a time to lock in and build up your craft, build up your character, build your community. Everyone's all focused on trying to fit in, but the people that end up fitting in are the people that end up not being successful in life. You have to do things that's different from the rest if you want to become the best version of yourself. The people that take no risk are never going to get the reward. Why are we always living this world to impress other people and living it for a good time? But what you know is what your point where you can go to the top and be able to shine at your brightest. That comes from sacrifice. That comes from resilience. It comes from you wanting to build that life you always desired. Stop looking at for things for clicks in life, but look for things that can continue to empower and build you to your financial future, for whatever that is. Finance is not about, oh, I'm making the most money, but it's about the impact that you can have, the impact you can have on the world, the more freedom that you can have to do things to be your true authentic self. So many people are always stuck in a cage, but they don't know what real freedom is. Utilize this skill set each and every day that you can use this for an expansion, that you can use this for growth, that you can use this to help provide value to more and more people each and every day. I don't just share this information just because I want to make money, but I want to transform the community. Seeing other people that look just like me, that don't look like me, feel empowered on what real freedom looks like for them. That they can truly change the life of their family just from utilizing this information, not knowing this information, but implementing this information. And the more people that I can impact, the more people that I can reach, then that's the bigger my purpose is in my life. And the more fulfilled that I will be. That I surround myself around people that's going to empower me, people that's going to push me, people that's going to check me to make sure I reach a higher level. If I hang around 9 broke people, I'm going to be the 10. So I got to be around people that want to talk about investments. That's why I have to cut people out of my life that aren't building me up but tearing me down. I only need to bring people that's going to build me, have that strong foundation for my life, have that people that's going to continue to keep me on my toes so I can continue to stay sharp. That's something that we all need. This world is trying to tear us apart, but use this information to bring us together. The biggest enemy is not the people overseas or the media. The biggest enemy is ourselves. And when you can overcome yourself, you can become that person that deserves to build wealth. So each and every day you wake up is an opportunity for you to thrive, for you to grow, for you to expand, for you to become someone that you never thought you could become. But starts with taking that risk. It starts with understanding finances. It starts with understanding how you can build up the family. It finds out a way how you can collaborate, how you can utilize technology, how you can continue to utilize those things that you failed at and utilize that to help build your freedom. So it's not going to be perfect, but the idea that you tried and that you never gave up is going to become the reason that you become successful. So I want you to use this information not to be fearful, not to be overwhelmed to the point where you don't know how to implement it, but use the information to thrive. And that's really what I want to do with this world. I'm 21 years old. I've been investing for almost 6 years now. And now, until I'm not going to be fulfilled until each and every one of us can have the opportunity to build wealth for their families. There's some kid in every part of the world that in some way that doesn't know where they want to be, that they don't know where the next meal, where the next opportunity, where the next thing is going to come into your life. But for those people that don't know, just know it's coming. It's going to come. That you have everything you need inside of you to be successful. Everything. You don't need anyone else. It starts with yourself. It starts with your faith. It starts with your finances. It starts with your health. It goes to your wealth. All those different avenues in your life is going to help you succeed. It doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about the millions, but it matters about the mindset. It matters about how much value you can provide to the world. And that's the bigger mission behind what we're doing. So make sure to subscribe to my Instagram on YouTube at Corey Phillips. Follow me on Instagram, Corey Phillips 3. Make sure to buy up some of this merch I got coming out. I got one underneath this hoodie. Make sure to come out to our next event. Stay tuned. You deserve to build wealth. You deserve to be empowered. And we will talk to you all soon.